This is John, founder of Star Hill. Welcome back. This is episode 2 of the chisel trials. We're going to go ahead and sharpen up our chisels and get those so they're honed and polished and on equal footing for the trials. We've got a flat grind on the Sorby, a hollow grind on the bar and the refiner's forge, and a convex grind on the Star Hill. And we're going to show you how we choose to sharpen. To do this flat grind, what we're going to use is we're going to use this jig right here. And this jig is pretty tough. It's a Kukuri jig. We'll put the link down below, but it just has one single knob. It's very, very tough, very easy to operate. What we're going to do is we're going to line up our jig with the making sure that the blade is flat on the stone. Here. One thing we can do to help ourselves is, since it's a flat stone, we can put a little marking, a little black marking right here. And we'll let that dry. And what that black mark is going to do is that's going to let us see where our jig is actually set up and whether we're in the right spot or not for sharpening. For flat, I generally use a jig because it makes life a little bit easier. And so I'm just going to move my jig back and forth. I want to start on the 400 side, so we'll start 400. We'll give it just a touch of Windex. And we can see right here that we're coming across the front, but the back is not set down properly, so we're going to have to lower it down a little bit to get that back a little bit lower. So we're going to do the 400 side until we have all that black removed and it's all nice and smooth. And then we're going to flip it over and we're going to go to the 1000 side and do a little bit more honing. Just work on the 1000 till we get that set of scratches out. Find that since we've been working on this side with this jig, that the back side here has got a very big burr on there. So we need to get rid of that burr, and we've mentioned a few times that you can just rub your chisel both directions. And that's going to take that burr right off of there. That'll remove it. Or you can put your chisel down here and work on the back side. Just to get that burr. Polish this up, and we'll just polish this with our green compound. And we're just trying to get a nice polished edge. And as we go, we can kind of see that we've got a nice, just a nice edge right there. All right, here's our Sorby. It is nice and sharp. And it is ready to go. So the Sorby is set for the chisel trials. It has a flat grind. So this is a bar 1.5 inch chisel. It's got a bit of a hollow grind, which means that this surface here is a little bit convex. And to sharpen this up, it's pretty straightforward for doing freehand. I'm going to put my stone on the 400 side, do a little shot of Windex. I'm going to push this down until I feel that hollow grind click in. Then once it's clicked in, I'm just going to keep my upper body still, and I'm just moving my hips back and forth. in order to get that grind. And I'm on the 400 side just to bring that across. And what we're looking for here is just a bit coming across the top here, and then just a little bit coming across this bottom portion. That's the advantage of a hollow grind, is it's not necessary to sharpen that whole flat. And with time, that hollow grind is going to wear itself flat, and you'll have to reapply it with a Tormac or a Wen or at a saw shop. You can see I'm just coming across the back, and I'm just coming across the front. You can feel just a little bit of a burr. And I want this to be nice and steady. And here I'll go a little bit more traditional, and I'll just do a bit of the back. I guess it's probably a little bit more traditional in the U.S. to flatten the back in this way, even though all it is really needed is just this touch right up at the front. But we're kind of doing the whole bit. Now that we've done the 400, we're going to switch it over and hit this on the 1000 side. And these don't take a whole lot with this hollow grind. You just can kind of take it as far as you like. And again, we're just looking to come right across at the tip and right on this edge right here. Kind of the purpose of the hollow grind. And then we'll just hit the back. Now this chisel's been around for a while. This is the first chisel I ever bought, which was probably well over 30 years ago. Now that I've got the 400,000, I'm going to make sure my strop is charged. I'm just going to polish this up. I'm going to polish the front, and I'm going to polish the back. And you can see that has a nice, very sharp edge with just a little touch of a hollow grind. So this bar is now ready to go for our chisel trials. So this is our 1.5-inch Refiner's Forge. It has a little bit more aggressive hollow grind than that bar. And what we're going to do is just show you how to set this up using this jig the same way that we used on the flat grind. We're going to just put this into position. I want to make sure that the front and the back both touch. And then once we have that in position, we want to make sure it's nice and tight and that it's nice and perpendicular and square. And again, we'll go to the 400 side. And same way as we did with the flat chisel. So we're just going to go back and forth. But what we're going to check here is we're going to check and make sure that we have a little bit coming across the bottom and a little bit coming across the top. That's kind of the advantage of the hollow grind. And this little jig makes it kind of easy for holding the angle. You don't really have to worry too much about what angle you're dealing with, because it's going to hold it right into position for you. And then once we're done with the 400, we're going to switch it over and we're going to do the same thing on the 1000 side. We're just doing a little bit more honing. And that's going to clean that up very nicely. And then once we're done with the 1000, we're going to take this jig off. So we've been working the other side. There's a good bit of a burr right here. So we're going to get that burr off of here. And then once we get rid of the burr, same thing. We're just going to strop everything up. Nice and flat, nice and polished. And now our refiner's forge hollow grind is ready to go. So this is a Star Hill, and this is probably my favorite to sharpen because it's got a convex, which is slightly rounded shoulder that just puts some meat behind this really acute angle, where we talked about 22.5 or so degrees. We're going to start out on the 400 side. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hold this high, like about 50 or 60 degrees, and I'm just working my way down to put a micro bevel on that edge. And what I'm shooting for is just sharpening a pencil line right here at the tip. It doesn't take a whole heck of a lot. Now as I'm sharpening, I'll build up a burr on the back, which is why we like this wood. That's going to remove that burr. That'll take that right off. You can actually use a stone if you prefer. You get some Cerakote on the back, so don't put the Cerakote up onto the stone because that'll wear itself off. But you can do the same thing as we did with the other, is just work the back a little bit and just get that burr to get itself off of there. I'm being a little stubborn. So once it's all stropped up, this Star Hill chisel is ready to go. This convex shoulder grind is going to cut very, very nice. We now have our chisels. They're sharpened. They are ready to go. Let's flip this around, take a quick look. And here you can see our chisels. We have the Star Hill with a convex grind. We've got the Sorby with a flat grind. We have the refiner's forge with a hollow grind. And then we've got the bar chisel with another hollow grind. So all of these have been honed and polished, and they are ready for the chisel trials.